Hello, welcome to our second video in our Power User series. I hope the video that we did first was helpful and that you learned a few things from that one. Today, we're going to look at a different topic. Before we jump into that, let me remind you of our three caveats. The thing that gives power to you may not be the same thing that gives power to me and vice versa. So give some of these things a try, see what works for you. Find the one you like and then stick with that one. Secondly, some of the things that may be most useful to you will require a learning curve, so be prepared to invest a little bit of time. And thirdly, these things always change. Some things change for the better, some things get clunky, some things go away. So always be prepared to be flexible and adapt. Find a favorite tool right now. A year from now, you may be searching for a different one that does the same thing. But at least you'll know the kinds of tools that you want to look for. I will also add a fourth caveat before we jump into this one. Some of the things that I will recommend from here on out are things that may cost you some money. For the most part, they will have a free option, and in most cases, you'll be fine with the free option. But I just want you to know there are some things along the way where spending a little bit of money can make a lot of difference in your computer use. So, that being said, let's get ready to jump into today's topic, which is about curation. Curation is the process of gathering and organizing information that is relevant to particular topics or areas of interest. This might be gathering instructional materials for the classroom. You might be gathering information that you're going to share with staff as part of professional development. Could be any other kind of research that would help you with an area of your job or just an area of your particular interest. But curation is all about finding things, gathering them, and organizing them. And I want to look at some tools for that today because I think most of us are pretty good at searching on the internet and going out and finding resources. We can find worksheets, we can find instructional videos, we can find articles that explain things. We can find so much stuff. We're good at the gathering part. If you're like me, you may not be so good at the organizing part because in the beginning I didn't have tools that made that easy for me, and now I do. So we're going to take a look at those tools and hopefully you'll find one that works for you. I want to look at 4 tools that are all a part of curation, each one providing a little more complexity and functionality than the one before. So that as we go through, hopefully you'll find the sweet spot for what would be useful for your needs. I won't be teaching you how to use each of these tools. I'll be giving you some resources at the end so that if you find the one that you want, you can certainly go and learn more about it. And as always, you know you can contact me and say, I've decided I want to learn to use that one, and I will be happy to help you with it. But since everyone watching this may choose a different option, I don't want everybody to have to sit through 4 long tutorials. So just a quick look at these 4 tools. The first thing, the most obvious thing when people want to gather resources is they just save a bookmark. They find something online, they bookmark it. And over time, most people's list of bookmarks become ridiculously long. It's impossible to manage. It's impossible to find things. You don't know how to find what you were searching for a month ago because now so many other things have been bookmarked in the meantime. And that used to be my strategy as well. And then I thought, well, I can solve that. I can put everything into folders right in my bookmarks bar. And you can see the folders right across the top here, Crack, RSS, Personal, PD, etc. That worked great for a while because I got just a few links for Crack. Perfect. For River Street, it's fine because you can put folders inside of folders, and you can see you can even put a folder inside of a folder of a folder. You can really nest things and create a nice hierarchy of information here right on your bookmarks bar. And that's pretty much what I try to do. But no matter how carefully I do that, I always end up with a few things that run over and there's not space for them there. And so then I'll try to find a way to work those back into a folder, keep them into my system. The problem is, over time, some of these lists got pretty long. Some of my folders got really full. And then there were the folders inside the folders inside the folders. And suddenly when I wanted to find that one bookmark, it was hard to find it. And so now I'm in the process of slowly eliminating most of these bookmarks and saving them in a different system. What I really want is I want the bookmarks on my bookmarks bar to be things that I need to access really frequently. Sites that I log into routinely, like Seesaw or Boom Cards, um, places that I go all the time, such as correct resources that I need for my job, or other tools that I use on at least a weekly or every other week basis. If I'm not using it every couple of weeks, there's a better place to put it. And so I'm slowly working that system now to shift it in a different direction, because while the bookmark system looks good, it's not great. Not if you have to gather a lot of resources. Now, the pros for the bookmarks is that they are searchable. Just as they are now, you can't really search them. But if you pull the three dots over here and go to your bookmarks and just go to your bookmarks manager, this is where you will find all of your bookmarks in one place. This is where it's easy to reorganize them if you need to. But the key here is you can search your bookmarks. So I know somewhere in there I have a website that will let me take the background out of a photo. I don't remember where it is, but if I just start typing remove background, it will show up for me and I can go to that link. So it is searchable. If you've got a lot of bookmarks and they're getting a little bit out of control, searching your bookmarks is a quick way to find what you're looking for. The other advantage of the bookmarks is if you're using Google Chrome and you've got your sync turned on, if I bookmark something here, no matter where I look at my Chrome, whether it's at home, whether it's on my phone, it's on a Chromebook, it's on an iPad, my bookmarks are there. They're all in the same place. That's a great feature, and I love that. Other than that, the con is it's great at organizing things until you get a lot of things. Once you get a lot of things, it's hard to go from there. And so then we need another system. So let's take a look at a second system. The second option we want to look at, Google Keep. Again, I'm going to say it's great for curating small amounts of material, not so great for curating large amounts of material, but I still want you to know that it's there. A lot of people love Google Keep, and so I don't want to skip over that. Now, Google Keep is built right into your Google Chrome browser, into your Google account. You can access it anytime. You can open a new tab, and you can go to Google Keep. And this is a place where you're just saving notes, but you can also save, it saves links to things. So you can bookmark a YouTube video that you want to come back to. You can bookmark any website, or you can just open it up and take a note. As you can see over here on the right side, I just took some notes. And these are all the notes that I have at the moment because I don't use Google Keep for a lot, but for some people it is their favorite tool. Now, what's so great about Google Keep? For one thing, it's super easy to use. Right now, you can see the cursor is blinking here. Take a note. I can just start taking a note about curation. And I can title it Curation Notes. And I can change the background. I can make the background stand out. I can add a picture if I want. I can collaborate with someone else if I want. I can pin it to the top so that no matter how many notes I create after this, it will stay at the very top. There are so many other options. I can add drawings. I can make a copy. I can send it to my Google Docs. It's very flexible. It can even give me a reminder. I can say, remind me later today about something, or tomorrow about something, or at some point in the future. I can even say, remind me at a certain place. So if I use it for my personal needs and I want to remember that the next time I'm at Target, I need to buy a certain thing, I can write down what I want to need. I can write down what I need, what I want to buy at Target, and then I can pick Target from a map. And when I arrive at that place, my phone will buzz and remind me about buying that item. So there's a lot about Google Keep that's nice. The difficult part with Google Keep is that it all lives in this one screen right here. You're looking at it. You can obviously tell that I would only need 3 or 4 more notes and I would have to start scrolling to find my notes. Now, some of these have little labels that I've added. You can add labels if you want so that I can say, show me just my classroom resources notes. I can see those. Show me my tech tools. I can see those. But again, I wouldn't need very many tech tool notes before I had to start scrolling. And when you're looking and looking and looking, it's a challenge. So this is a great way to save short things. It's a great way to save those little reminders because they will pop up on your screen. They're good for that. Here's the other thing it's good for. It is so well integrated into the rest of the Google documents. For example, I'm going to open up, here's notes that I used in our first video, and you can see over here on the right-hand side, Google Keep is right there. So if I'm in the middle of typing something and I need to make a note to remind myself, I can take a note. Or if I took a note earlier about something that I want to add to my notes here, I can just drag it right in there and it will add that to it. It'll stick it in my note. So it's a great way to save things in that way. Notes that you need to use back and forth in your documents, it's great for that. It also has its own little extension, a Chrome extension that you can put at the top so that if I'm on a website and I want to save this website, I can just click the extension. It will, there's the website, and I can make a note about this and say, come back and finish this video. And if I want to add a label, I can say I'm going to make that one of my tech tools, and now it's in Google Keep. If I go to Google Keep, there it is right there, the very first one. So Google Keep, a nice tool for gathering smaller amounts of information, really flexible with some of the note taking. Still not your best option if you're curating lots of information. Let's move on to OneNote. Our third curation tool is OneNote from Microsoft. As a part of our work access to our email, we have accounts for Office 365, and so we all have access to Microsoft OneNote. OneNote has, for quite some time, been recognized as a great note-keeping app. Lots of college students rely on it. Teachers can set up class notebooks where information is shared back and forth between the student and the teacher. Work can be graded in that way. You can share notebooks between people and collaborate on things. So it is a great note-taking app. And you can see here, as I'm looking at my OneNote screen, you can see at the bottom, some of these are clearly part of my drive. Here's one that's shared with me for all the tech folks at CREC. I can pin notebooks to the top, so some are easy to find once I have a lot of notebooks. If I don't want to look at the shared things, I can just narrow it down to my notebooks or just which ones have been shared with me, class notebooks, etc. So there are a lot of different ways you can organize things. A notebook is like a big global topic. And again, I'm not going to teach you how to use OneNote, but I just want you to understand how it works if you're not familiar. It's like a big notebook. This is your big 3-ring binder. And then when you open it up, inside, you can subdivide that in lots of ways. Within this giant notebook, there are smaller notebooks that you can create, or sections rather. They call them sections. So you can create sections. So that's like your tabbed areas within your notebook. And then within each tab, you can add pages. So you can have multiple sections in a notebook and multiple pages within sections. So you can see that you have sort of a hierarchical organization there, and that lets you do some really well organized note taking. For most of your note taking, you are looking at a toolbar across the top that is very similar to Microsoft Word, so it's easy for you to format your things really quickly. You can tag your notes in a number of ways, important things, remember for later, if it's an address or a phone number so that you can quickly find those later. So you can find lots of ways to organize things within OneNote. You can add dictation, as if you don't want to type, you can just dictate and let OneNote pick that up for you. It does a great job of all of that. And if you don't feel comfortable working here in the browser all the time, you can see here, open in the desktop app. There's a desktop app version that syncs with the cloud version, and if you would rather work in the desktop, it's there. Not going to look at that right now. I just want you to be aware. Now, this is all free. It's all great. It was designed primarily as note-taking, but it has made the leap to curation by doing one thing, and that is adding, right here at the top, a Chrome extension, so that no matter where you are on the internet, you can save what you're looking at right into your notebook. So I'm going to come to, I've got a digital signage section set up here, Screen Cloud Tutorials. I'm going to go to a Screen Cloud page, and I want to save that because that's where I'm going to log in for tutorials. So I'm going to click right on my clip here, and you will see it gives me options. I can add a note right here that says these are great tutorials for setting up Screen Cloud. I can even change the name if I don't want it to say that. If I want something more specific, it shows me a picture of the web page. It gives me a link to the web page. But I have an option. Maybe I don't need the whole page. Maybe I just need a region. I can do that as well. And that would be by dragging and clicking. Sorry. So if I just needed to have this section, I could do that. But I'm going to go back. I could save just the article, and it will give me, if it was an article, it would do better. There's not much here to read. So really what it does is it pulls out the words on the page and leaves the ads and the pictures behind. I could just save the bookmark. I still have an option to add a note here, but I don't really need a picture of that page. So I can make a note about great tutorials. And now I get to choose where is it going to go. I have a tip of the week notebook. I have a media resources notebook. I can choose which page it's going to go on. I want it to go on my digital signage. I clip it. It tells me it's clipping that for me. And in a moment, it will tell me that it is all done. And when it is all done, you can say view in OneNote. I'm just going to close it and go right on over here because it's already there. And there is that note that I saved, the link. Great tutorials at this link. So you can see you are organizing as you go. And that's the trick. You don't want to fall behind. So this one Chrome extension has turned OneNote from just a great note-taking app into a great note-taking app that also allows you to curate and organize materials from the internet so that you can easily connect those to the notes you're taking. And that may be the way you want to prepare a professional development activity or some classroom resources, a combination of your notes of what you want to say, how you want to do things, lesson plans, outlines for presentations, whatever, and then have the materials that support that. So OneNote, your third curation tool. Now let's get ready to move on to the fourth and my favorite. Now for our fourth and final curation tool. This one is called Evernote. And Evernote is the one that I use. I have been using it for a number of years. It is the one where if I have items in my bookmarks that I don't use very often, I'm slowly moving those over to Evernote. This is where I want everything to live. Evernote has a lot of features that I love, so let me just quickly show you what we've got here. Evernote does just like I was showing you with OneNote. I can pop open from the top of my screen a menu item at the very top, and it just lets me start typing a note. And I can type it and then convert that to a note. So I can quickly do a note here, note about Evernote, and I can convert that to a note. I can capture a selection of my screen and add it to that note while I'm here. I can do all kinds of things here. I could quit Evernote if I wanted to. But when I'm done, I can say, okay, convert that to a note, and it will save it in Evernote. So I've got that option. I also have the same option of having a Chrome extension. So if I go back to this same item that we were looking at before. I've got my Evernote, a little elephant, because elephants never forget. It loads a web clipper for me. And just like before, I have options. I have options to save the whole article, a simplified article, the whole page, just the bookmark, or a screenshot. It also will let me organize where it goes. I'm going to cancel that for a moment. And I will come back to that again in a moment and show you how this is a winner for me. But right now, let's just say it does that very well. It lets you capture things, save them. It's great in terms of organizing. Now, what does Evernote look like? When we were looking at it, this is just my home page. That's the splash page that comes up that says welcome. And it kind of has recent things that I've saved, recent notes that I've made, recent things that I've captured. Place for me to have a little note to myself if I need to. I generally don't pay much attention to this page. The two things that I look at really are my shortcuts, because I have some things marked here, things that I'm currently working on, gathering material for and curating, and then some things that are recent. It will prompt me on things that are recent because sometimes that is things I need to get back to quickly. So my shortcuts, I kind of manage those to make sure that things that are upcoming I have there. The other thing that I pay attention to are the tags. Now there's two ways to go about organizing things here. I used to be a notebook person. I used to put a notebook for everything. Inside my school stack, I had things that were about Google Chrome and things that I saved about iPhones and things that I saved about tech support. I was a notebook person. And then I realized I'm organizing things into notebooks and I don't need to here. There's a more powerful tool. I don't need to worry about this. So all I have to do is just save it and tag everything. And tags is how it works for me. So let's go back to a page again. Let's say I want to save this page. I'm going to go to my little elephant. I'm going to choose to, let's just save the bookmark for now. I don't put anything in any of these notebooks anymore. Here, let me move me out of the way down here so you can see what's happening. I don't bother with the notebooks anymore. Doesn't matter. Not going to put anything anywhere. It all just goes into the inbox. Just one big generic pile. Because then I tag it. And I will tag it with whatever I need, as many tags as I need. So here, this is going to be a student activity, and I'm saving it in 2021, and I'm going to add another tag because I'm going to delete this later, and I don't want to save it. And then I can even add a remark. This is nice, but not needed. That way I know I can delete it. And I save it. That's going to be great. Now, when it saves, I can go right and view it in Evernote. If I've saved other things related to this same topic, Evernote will let me know. It gives me all kinds of prompts like that. I can add a reminder to come back and look at this later, and it will prompt me, don't forget to look at this. So it gives me lots of those kinds of tools. And if I go over here to my, let's refresh the page so that it has the new notes that I made. I'll push me to the side while that's happening. All right, so there's the most recent note that I did, the EdTech software and tools. It's got it right there at the top. There's my link. Here's the note that I made. And it's just for me at the moment to see. I have options of copying the links. I can change info about the note. I can print it. I can change the tags. Lots of things that I can do to it. But here are the tags that I put down here. Student activity, delete, and 2021. I can manage those tags. I can add more tags. I just want you to see the tagging system, because now let me show you how that works. When I need to find something, let's say I'm going to do some research on Google Sheets, I'm just going to come here, and there are the 35 things that I have gathered about Google Sheets. And here they are in order from the most recent to the oldest, each and every item. And you can see these are Google Sheets, but within these 35 things, there are also some things that are labeled Inbox or Format Painter or Canva. just in case those are key pieces that I want to look at, I can click that and that brings me right to the one that has both of those tags, Google Sheets and Format Painter. If I don't really want that, I can come back and say, no, that wasn't it. In fact, maybe it was the one about Google Sheets, but also Canva. Yeah, okay, that was the one. Data charts inside Canva. That's what I wanted. So you can see how I can use the tags to quickly narrow my search and find the article that I saved that I want to use now in something that I'm going to provide to staff development, whether it's going to be a tip of the week or some other video, it's right here. There are a lot of features with Evernote. One of the things that I like, an app on my phone so that I can see exactly on my phone what I've got here. It's always there. Another thing that I like about it, on the phone, Evernote has their very own scanning app. So I can hover my camera over a document, it will scan it, save it right into my Evernote, allowing me to put the tags on it so that I know where that is. So I can get paper items right into my Evernote. It also has, I'm going to pop this down out of the way, it does have also an application, and I like their application, and in fact I use it more than I use the web version, but it has exactly the same things. You can see it looks exactly the same. The home starts the same, the recent notes works the same, everything is the same, and tags is where it narrows it all down for me. This is a great resource. I use it every single day to save items on the internet that I think I may use later in some type of professional development activity. And I've been saving items here for years. And it doesn't matter that there's a lot in there that I may never use, because there's not really a limit. I can just keep storing things there as long as I want. I can share notebooks with people. I can share notes with people. It's so easy to use. Now, this is one that I do pay for. Whichever note would be right for you, I'm going to say for almost everyone watching this video, the one that would be right for you is the free one, because it does all of the things that I just showed you. There are a few things that it doesn't do that I like, but here's the real reason I changed. Right now, in the free version, it will let you upload 60 megabytes per month and sync 2 devices. Well, I gather a lot of resources for professional development. I was hitting that 60 megabyte monthly limit, and I wanted to use more than 2 devices. So I went to the personal account. Now, right now, that's $70 a year. I joined a long time ago, so I'm grandfathered in. I pay $39 a year out of my pocket because it's worth it, because I also save personal things in here. I have a personal stack as well as a work stack. So, but I can save up to 10 gigabytes monthly instead of just 60 megabytes, and I can sync unlimited devices. So right now, my desktop at work that we're recording on, my work laptop, my phone, my home desktop, all sync together. So I can access these notes from any place, and no matter where I am, if I see a thing I want to save, I can drop it right into Evernote. That's really the reason I paid for the extra, so that I would have that flexibility and that I would have more space for uploading. Other than that, I'm going to guess most people probably do not need the additional features that it's going to add here, because those aren't things that you're going to use that often. I certainly would not need to move up to the professional level account. So for most people, the free account. If you do a lot of information, maybe the personal, but I'm going to tell you Evernote is very powerful. And if you want to learn how to use it really efficiently, I will be happy to help you work on it. So those are tools for curation, for gathering information, which we can all do, but can you organize it? As it comes in, the moment you grab it off the internet, can you put it where you want it to go? Can you park it into a Google Keep note? Can you put it into a folder with your bookmarks? Can you save it with a series of important tags in Evernote so that you can always find it later? Or Do you want to create a notebook system within OneNote and work through that? You will have to decide what works for you. I will tell you that as we went through the 4 today, each one offers more features than the ones previous. So as you get to Evernote, you've gotten to the most powerful tool. But not everybody needs that, and not everybody wants to go through the process of creating all those tags and learning how to use it. But it is really easy. Trust me on that. All right, that gets us to the end of curation. I hope that stimulates you to change how you're gathering information so that you're not just bookmarking everything. Because if you're bookmarking everything, eventually you're going to have a problem finding the things that you bookmarked when you need them and want them. So I would urge you to find a more effective system if you are a person who needs to gather and store material in an organized fashion so that you can recall that later and use it in your job every day. All right, that wraps up this video. I'll see you soon in video number 3.